I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this. It's just to kind of explain the importance of title insurance and why it protects you and why you should have it, even if it's required for you to have it, which it is in my state. I still want you to understand what it's all about. So let's go into title insurance just a bit and see what it is. So what is title insurance? Now we know insurance, what insurance means, just like we get homeowners insurance or travel insurance. Well, title insurance is something that is there to really protect you. So first of all, it normally guarantees, this is what it's supposed to do. It guarantees that there are no liens or title objections whatsoever. So in other words, there's going to be what's called a gap check before closing, literally the day of closing about. And what they're going to do is check the courthouse records again to make sure that nobody at the last minute has filed a lien on the property, because you don't want that. And the thing is once you have title insurance, that certifies that they're on the hook, you're not on the hook. If something needs to be corrected, it's corrected by them at their expense. That's the whole point here, and it works very, very well. So again, you want to make sure there's no liens or title objections. Now, we did talk about safe title, and we talked about some minor objections that really doesn't affect the property or the resale value at all. But again, if we want to be strict to the code of making sure everything is perfect, then that's what we want in the title insurance where there is no objections. So it can be a negotiable expense, all right? So, in existing construction, it says this is what the buyer pays, this is what the seller pays, and that's in the contract. Does that mean it's etched in stone? No, it does not. Because normally the title insurance in most places are put upon the buyer, but it doesn't mean that you can't negotiate it. It doesn't mean that you can't say, I want title insurance to be paid for. So that can be something that's negotiable. It's the same way with a builder. The builder is going to say, you pay for your own title insurance. Let's see if that builder really wants to sell the property or needs to sell the property. It's something that is negotiable. And again, they will do a gap check at the courthouse, because in most states, except for 2 states in the United States, there is no paper abstracting. It's all electronic. So it doesn't mean that one's better than the other. It just means that is the normal way. And pretty much as we go a few more years into this, it's all going to be electronic. And understand this, once you close on that property, if nobody's filed on it, at that point, if they want to file 2 days later, they are out of luck, because that was on the previous builder, not on you anymore. So you're out of the picture. Now, it's normally in most states now even included for cash purchases, mainly because title companies, closing companies are worried about liability in all ways. And so what they're going to do is require it. But even if they don't, I'm a proponent of getting title insurance even when you do a cash purchase. So again, we talked about clear title versus safe title. I'll revisit this again. Encroachments aren't cool. They are not acceptable. They need to be corrected, or you need to walk away. Sometimes properties are over the building line even by an inch. Understand one thing. You can just go ahead and say, I'm not closing. I will promise you, in my 35 years, I have never seen a city come in and say, you got to remove that 1 inch of property. Because they want their tax money. And so even that's not a huge objection, although again, it's your option at that point. And sometimes you can get these things waived. You can actually say, well, okay, I'll go ahead and close, but I want this to be waived. Now if it's an easement, probably not going to happen. If it's 1 inch over the building line, you may be able to negotiate that and get that removed. So again, the normal objection that I see on clear title versus safe title is on utility easements. So what happens if there's a problem? All right, and this is where it really comes into play. There is a possibility, even though I can't remember the last time, and maybe it's happened and I don't even know, that there is a mistake that's made. Maybe they didn't catch a lien. Maybe that lien is $10,000. Well, guess what? It's not on you. It is on the title company. They closed you and said, there's nothing here. There's no encumbrances. There's no liens. There's no nothing. And if there is, then somebody else is on the hook, not you. It's paid for, so that there's no way that person can come on you and say, I'm going to sue you or put a lien on the house, mainly because this wasn't paid for. That's what title insurance does. It pays for the corrections. And it doesn't have a time limit. So in other words, that title insurance is on that property as long as you own it. And until you sell it, it stays into effect up to that moment where title is taken by someone else. So it's very important that you have that because, again, I don't like risk. I don't like to say, well, I'm not going to worry about it because then I'm going to worry about it. So it may come up when you sell the investment property in some cases about issues that may be found. But again, remember, title insurance is there to protect you. And again, it lasts as long as you own the property. Now, again, consult with your title company. They have attorneys there or an attorney if a quitclaim deed is done. Now, sometimes quitclaim deeds are very simple where maybe, it's something that goes into an LLC or a trust or whatever. It's granted, doesn't affect the title insurance. But just to be safe, check with an attorney, check with a title company to make sure if there's a quitclaim deed, like out of a divorce, that things are handled properly and title insurance is still in place and nothing is affected. Again, I don't like to say trust without verification. So it's just my way of doing things. I want to make certain. I don't want to leave anything out to chance. And make sure you use a AA rated title company. I haven't seen this lately, but there's been some scams out there too. But if you close with a national company like Stewart Title or, American Eagle or First American, I can think of a few, they're always AA rated title companies. Check with that because sometimes you get these obscure closing companies, attorneys, whatsoever. You need to make sure you get what's called a AA. That's the highest rating, by the way, in title insurance, unless they've changed it since I've checked the last time. That's the top rating. You want a top rated title insurer. You want to make sure that they're there, just like if you have homeowners insurance, you want to make sure they don't go away. So you want to handle that. Probably took a little more time than I wanted to. I think all of these things are important for you. And now comes down to the final moment in the closing process of getting the closing documents, what they call the CD. All right. There used to be a previous name. There used to be a HUD-1. Now it's CD. These closing documents we're going to go into with some detail. So if you understand them, how they're put together, how to read them, how the fact that everybody else involved in this process is going to read them also. We're up next. Stay tuned.